Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 3:30 slot. Yeah.
We're going to wake everybody up.
Yeah, this is a really powerhouse and diverse crew. So you're in for a treat. My name is Carrie Seifer. I'm with IAS, and we're going to talk about culture. We're going to talk about culture. It'll be really fun. But I'm going to go down the line, and everyone's going to introduce themselves, what you do, where you do it. I don't know why, favorite color, whatever you want.
Sean, I'm a Taurus. I work for Starz. I'm in charge of our strategy and planning with oversight on our direct-to-consumer media business as well as our wholesale partners, Amazon, Roku, and such.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kern. I have the best job in this room. I lead media planning and strategy at ESPN.
Hi, everybody. I'm Molly Finnerty. Ooh, I am loud.
You feel far.
Sound good.
I feel like this is some like Richie
Okay.
Rich situation.
Waking me up at least. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at Zenith.
And hi, everyone. My name is Noelle Perez. I lead media and performance marketing at Samsung Mobile Experiences. Nice to see y'all.
See what I mean? It's good stuff. We're going to start by, I would love for each of you, and then we will get more pointed with the who, talk a little bit about some of the cultural trends you guys are paying attention to in 2026. Like, what are you seeing out there? Because you guys see a lot. Noelle, you want to start?
Looking at me.
Yes, go Molly, go.
I'd love to start. I think as far as cultural trends and things that we're trying to stay ahead of from an agency perspective is not necessarily honing in on any one particular trend, how to stay up to date and relevant with what's going on. But I think what we're trying to do and we're talking to our clients about is authenticity throughout all of it and consumer focus. So there's no control over what's going on from a cultural trend perspective. You can keep up with it, but you have to stay authentic and deep and build those deeper connections, I think, to consumers and try and stay consistent and authentic. So that's really the focus of what we're doing. And, again, trying to move from just being, buyers, activators, marketers to, to like real cultural enthusiasts for our brands.
Noelle, I feel like Samsung does a very good job at this. How do you guys do that?
Well, I think from a brand perspective, it's going to be a bit different because we want to ensure that we are appearing naturally. So there's a ton of culture out there and we want to be part of it. We want to be part of it, but we don't want to overtake the culture. So it's more about where can we naturally fit in and where can we add value. So definitely examples of that would be sports or, live gaming, even music. How are consumers using our products and how do we naturally fit into these cultural moments? We definitely see them take pictures from their phones, when they're watching sports or watching concerts. We know that they're reading the news on their Galaxy Book, hint, hint, which is out there now for Tablet 6. So I think it's about where can we naturally fit into this cultural moments and, as you mentioned, be authentic as a brand and be choiceful in terms of.
Is there a cultural trend that you're hot for this year?
I mean, I don't want to start this panel talking about AI, but I feel like definitely that's where we're looking at it. I mean, Samsung has been doing AI and automation for decades. So this is not net new for us. So it's definitely something that we want to ensure that every single consumer is using valuably and has, impact in their everyday life. I think that's the trend that we want to be in. It's not about what is trendy from an AI perspective, but how do we bring value in everyday consumers' lives? I think that's the trend now where we are seeing.
On the publisher side of the house, what trends are you seeing?
I'm a publisher. I'm a brand.
A brand. I'm sorry, madame. Sorry,
Yes,
madame.
she is.
First of all, AI not a trend anymore. So I just want to go out on the record to say that if you're not using it in all facets of your life, shame on you. And so I think that's definitely the mantra that, is from the top at our company, which is it's embedded in everything that we're doing. I would say we're constantly looking at trends and trying to obviously find the things that are popping, but also, go back to the core of what we tested direct mail this year, which we saw really positive results from. We love out of home. We love going back to places and spaces that
Out of home is sexy.
We love out of home.
Out of home can be very sexy. I agree.
And again, what's exciting about the innovation there is everything that we're doing with 3D holograms and really taking that even to the bigger level. And so I would say a trend is old school going new school.
Trend. Go.
So, consumers are really fickle with their entertainment and their content. So I look at the space and in terms of culture, I define it with like 3 words. It's fragmentation with intensity. For our business, audiences are getting smaller. There's more options. The attention span is a lot shorter, and they're more fickle with their passion points. And so we need to be able to tap into that and be authentic. I like the word, to be able to tell Starz' value proposition, be able to show them the content that we believe they're going to want, and kind of meet them where they are in their daily lives or what they're doing, or make sure our brand shows up again in an authentic way so that it feels genuine and they want to build a relationship with us and come to the service and hopefully stay for a very long time.
Any examples from Starz, even from 2025? I'll let you talk about 2025, where there was a cultural trend that you guys did a really nice job integrating into authentically.
So we super serve 2 very distinct audiences. If you know our content, we're in business with 50 Cent, and we have the Power You franchise that primarily serves our Black cohort audience, and then Outlander kind of anchors our female demographic. And so you couldn't get farther apart on cultures and interests and lifestyles. So one thing we've done is we've really, for our Black cohort and our Power You franchises, have really tried to go in with our characters and our show concepts, and really integrate into like neighborhoods. And so for Raising Canaan last year, we went into some neighborhoods. We did murals and cleaned up a lot of kind of the inner city parks. We had the cast come out and talk to the kids that were out there about life and just general about careers. And so really trying to be authentic with like that community, and because a lot of that show is about the 50 Cent's character and how he came up in that neighborhood, and it was able to kind of like turn himself into who he was in later seasons.
So we probably shouldn't talk about Pete Diddy and 50 Cent at all, should we?
I'll tell you one thing is 50 is a very genuine person, and he is authentic to his core. So it's great to be in business with him, even sometimes if he says some outlandish things.
Good on you guys, though, for letting him be authentic, which is what Molly's saying, is like, careful what you wish for, because that is, you don't control humans, but you got to ride that wave.
Yes. Well, and you have to pivot and be dynamic. Culture moves fast. It's literally a daily exercise of interests and beliefs and wants changing. I think one of the questions you had is like how are we kind of staying up to speed, and what we do and what I try to encourage my team with is like building systems to listen quicker. And be able to react. And those systems could be human systems, or they could be AI. Hate that word. But like using tech to enable that velocity, so that we as a brand, or me and my team in terms of the media or marketing campaigns that we're pushing out, can make those optimizations and changes if we see the shifting dynamics that we need to capitalize on.
Let's go there, because you guys kind of hinted at this also. You see a cultural trend. What systems do you have in place to be able to do something about it?
Yeah, I don't think that there is a perfect solution right now in the marketplace. I think that we We do heavily rely on our partners. I think that we understand that what's trending on one platform might not be trending on another, and they really do have their own, cultural trending and needs and the way that we use those platforms. So I will say that we do rely on the partners. There's been, there's a new, I would say, social trends tool that's being launched. And what I am probably most proud of is that, every time I meet with a partner, I learn that my teams are the first. So there's an alpha, there's a test, there's a new tool available, and someone within my org is like, I'm all in. I want to beta this tool. I want to cross train not just investment teams, but full, end-to-end social teams. And partners have been really generous as well. I think our platform partners with their cultural insights. So it's, I feel like we're on our way at least to creating a playbook.
You have to be agnostic, right? It's like, I forget who said it. What was old is new again. And I think if you're stuck in your ways and you're not out there surveying the landscape of partners, you're going to kind of miss the next thing that can help you move forward.
I want to just say, because that mentality obviously trickles down to your clients, and we're so lucky to be a client of yours. And I think that energy really comes to everything that we do together with Publicis, and just making sure that we're picking the right trends to activate against is also really important, because there's so many. And I think what I appreciate is the discipline that you guys bring to find the right one.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN is culture, right? So we
Na-na-na.
I compliment you, doesn't mean you have to compliment me, but thank you.
It was a layup, right? It was, you got layup, you got it.
Thank you.
No, so I do agree. Like, I think that that's what our clients are looking for is, the firsts, the betas, the learnings.
So, Ina, how do you stay on top of this stuff then?
I don't sleep. I have extraordinary agency partners and brand partners. We actually do a lot of work with Samsung as well. And I think we try to be purposeful about who we activate with. And I think, we had a big launch this summer, and we, RFP'd the market. We literally got responses back from 70 partners, and we really only went in deep with 5, because we really wanted to find the handful of partners that could really give us that extra value, that extra zing, that, surround sound.
So wait, tell us about that criteria. Like, really, what was the criteria for distilling it down to 5? I mean, come on.
I would
say,
you want to know. No, I'll really tell you. So first and foremost, it was, we knew we were going to buy things. We're going to buy media. We're going to buy all that stuff. But so many partners here, and again, I want to talk about Samsung. I don't think you even know that I'm going to talk about you, but it was about how do you leverage your own ecosystem to help us amplify whatever else we're doing. So that was really, really powerful. And I think a lot of the partners we chose just had that above and beyond influencers or their owned media or, whatever all of that was. And it was hard, but we did not have an endless amount of money. We also are fortunate to have obviously our own network that we're activating against. And so we really needed to find those partners that not only were able to amplify, but also give us that creative edge and just so execute. That was a very big lesson as well, because not everyone, people promise a lot, but not everyone can execute at the speed in which sports works, which is, we're not CPG. It does not take us 2 years to launch something. It's like, 2 weeks in, we gotta either launch it or take it down or shift it or whatever. And so we had to really be purposeful about that.
It's really interesting because, I know we don't want to talk about technology and AI too much, but that human with AI is really helpful. Like, we use at IAS technology a lot to understand product development and the voice of the customer. So we use technology where we listen in on sales calls and we, put a lot of our CES meetings into Salesforce. And then we use AI to help us filter, like, okay, how much did economic conditions come up? How much did supply chain become an issue? Why are people moving fast? Why are people moving slow? And the AI can help turn one-off conversations into trends for our product development team to then say, okay, everyone wants to understand how to figure out if a creator is a bot or not. So we should be building technology for that. It came up 72% of the time at CES in our meetings. So I do think there's listening tools that are available to us to make sure we're not too biased. We can move fast and things like that. But at the end of the day, you it's interesting. You filtered it also on just like people that you knew could perform inside of their own ecosystem. So it sounds like there was some tech and there was some gut, and that's how you narrowed it down to who you chose. From the campaign, what worked the best? Pick a favorite child.
I don't know that I'm allowed to say that, but I do have a favorite child, and
Okay.
I love what we did with the Lyft team. Part of what I love about what we did, we only wrapped 5 cars, and yet we got hundreds of people sending us pictures, and people were like, did you wrap 400 cars? There were five cars, and we were so strategic about where they showed up, and they showed up in really high profile places, and people just love them. People love getting into this gorgeous all red wrapped giant car, and they shared it on their social media, and they sent all these pictures around, and people really enjoyed that moment, and it was really fun.
And those places are culture.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely,
choices were
absolutely.
cultural choices.
Absolutely.
Wait, so what places were they? Where'd you choose to? Sorry, I'm putting on
Times Square,
Yeah.
the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
I think a college football game. I don't know. Sean, where did we?
Sean, where'd you wrap?
Where'd we wrap? No, I can't. August. Who can remember last August at this point?
I know.
Yeah.
So smart. Noelle, technologically, is there a tool or some specific technology that you guys use to decide to do a 3-fold phone? What are you guys looking at that helps inform what you're building?
I don't think there's a one tool for everything for us. We are very dependent on our agency partners to be able to give us that insight and feedback that we need. But I think tools are enablers. And as you had mentioned, I think it takes humans to take insights out of the tools and the data that we get out of the tools. So it's more about how do we become insights driven, not just data driven, from the tools that we own and the tools that we have. For me, the gap, which I'm hoping that I could get our teams and partners to be better on, is how do we get the right insights? Because there's a ton of data. There's great tools out there. How do I narrow down the learning or the value and make it into the best proposition we have for the business in order to sell phones, not just trifold, but every single product we have out there in the ecosystem. So I think it's all about insights-driven approach, not just data-driven approach.
Yeah, that's a good transition to media per se, because there's culture and there's cultural trends, and you want to be part of that zeitgeist and catch it or create it. But then there's also there is media, and how do you attach media to a cultural trend without looking inauthentic? Have you guys gotten it wrong before, and how do you make sure you get the media part of it right?
I think that we have gotten it wrong before. We absolutely have, but I think we're just not at a point anymore, even with, the way the fast pace that culture is changing. We're not at a place in this industry where we can do everything the way that we've always done it. So we are constantly thinking about our clients and their missions and how they want to stay authentic and how they want to embed themselves into culture in that, in that real way. And so we take risks. We take calculated risks, and some of them don't pan out as well. But again, like I said before, we love being the first. We love taking those learnings, whether they were really impressive or not so great. And having a POV when things come around as well. Because at the end of the day, we are the agents. We need to understand that. So to understand too that another team, another colleague has already tried something out and it didn't, provide the results that we needed is valuable too. We just have to be, you just have to be confident enough to share that.
I think it's a really critical question, and I love this question actually because media has changed, right? Media experts are no longer just channel driven. As a media lead, and I've gone through different companies, our role has changed dramatically from being a media expert to a more cross-functional expert. I have been involved in PR conversations, social conversations, partnerships conversations, non-paid channels. So I think it's super critical to find the right media experts, modern media translators who can translate the impact of media across different channels, because that's how we've changed now in the business.
That's so right,
Yeah.
Noelle. And I was actually going to say, media's role is almost a cultural translator. I was in a media buying forum yesterday, and a controversial topic came up about like brand and big ideas. And I was on the side of every year as agency folks, but like the big idea is dead. It's hard to manufacture that these days. It's kind of been played out. It's diluted, and going back to the point of audiences smaller, their passions run deeper. You have to be able to translate your brand into that moment, into the placement. I constantly say internally to our marketing teams, like my job is to provide a canvas that the marketing team then can overlay with the creative and the messaging that resonates. So it is very much a cross-functional. Same thing with PR. Work very deeply with PR to how do we turn our premiere events into a micro media moment for those fandoms and really super serve the fans of that show. And that is a media expertise in terms of out of home and making it splashy.
You wrap 5 lift cars.
Yeah, wrap 5.
Times Square.
I'm dying to say the big idea is not dead. I would leave, quit this business.
I said
today.
it was controversial.
No, it is not dead, and it is the right idea. It is not. It is it is just finding the right idea. And I don't know. I spend most of my day with finance more than the marketing department, and our and just really demonstrating the impact of media, I would say. And anyway, big idea is not dead.
Yeah,
we have Disney's budget. Maybe we could do a
we
big
do
idea.
not have. We have teeny tiny budgets. We do not. Definitely not.
I was gonna say I don't think and I don't have to agree with you just because you're my client.
Yes, you don't have to agree with
but
me. No.
I don't think that the big idea is dead. I think it just depends on, I think it depends on what is the big idea and what do you want to get out of this? To have a big idea is great, but what do you want to get out of it? We've had, another instance was Rocket Companies is our client, and we were briefed by our CMO with just this vision of ingraining the company into culture and completely changing the way that people feel about home ownership and how to connect with his brand throughout their journey. And I mean, it was not a media brief. Hey, can you help me get some media? Can you be our media buyers? This was like a cultural challenge to us to really bring something to life, and we did. I mean, we created this whole campaign called Own the Dream, and it's
You won a pretty big award for that.
we did. We won a gold lion.
It was great.
Yeah.
Wait, so can you?
We're going to win another one this
Yep.
year, right?
Noise. Wait, can you help us understand the process? So you get this brief, and then what?
I laughed. I said, I literally told him what he wanted to accomplish wasn't possible. And he wanted to create this moment in the Super Bowl live. He wanted time that he didn't own. Like, it was wild. And it took a lot of different parties getting together, creating this moment. And if all parties didn't believe in this big moment, like Ina was saying, it wouldn't have happened. But he believed in the end result of owning the dream so much that everybody was all in.
Come on, Noelle, I'm outnumbered.
I know.
What side are you on?
I'm Switzerland, but it's I think one big idea is composed of a lot of different ideas. So I'd say it's both. But yeah.
Like, I think, when I'll augment my the thought, and maybe this is specific to Starz because we are a challenger brand, we're an indie studio. I spend a lot of my time talking with finance too. Like, we're a very financially driven organization. We're publicly traded, so we're accountable to the number. And I think for us, like, the big idea is we want to take risks. We need to fail fast forward, but we have to do that like financially responsible. So we can't invest in a Super Bowl, and nor would we. Like, that's not our audience. So when I say the big idea, it's we target again niche audiences. We know who our audiences are. We know their passion points. We can have big ideas within those smaller groups. My point of view was for Starz, like, we don't go out with this mass reach big idea, because it's not going to resonate, and it's not going to be authentic to who we are. So I think there's different flavors.
I think you guys are saying a lot of the same things, but you just don't realize it. Yeah.
And by the way, when we did this brief, the first thing we started with is data is the big idea. And to us, really understanding how we can innovate in the data space is just as important as wrapping cars, and that was actually the forefront of the story, because it had to start with a data understanding. And so I wanted to be controversial with you but and by the way, what you guys do was pretty amazing. I mean, hello Outlander, like, so incredible. And
we have a good canvas to
very
paint.
authentic.
Yes,
I would
it
say
is.
that
Like,
to
my dream campaign, talking about culture, I'm not going to be able to do it, but I wanted to partner up with the Portal. You guys remember the Portal? That was like in New York, and you could like talk to people over in Ireland. So talked with the team out in Germany. Unfortunately, they moved the Portal from New York to Philly. So like geographically, it didn't make a lot of sense for Outlander. But again, that was going to be like a big idea.
Philly's very up and coming. Wall Street Journal just said it's the #1 city on the planet.
Really?
Go Philly. In case anyone's Philly fan here, not a single Philly. Thank you. Let's go Philly. Yeah, exactly. I do want to talk a little bit about the risks, and like Molly was kind of alluding to this at the beginning, because you do have AI creating narratives for a lot of your brands that you didn't create. And so I'm wondering how you guys are approaching some of the miscommunication and the narratives that might go out into the world. Do you police it at all? Do you proactively police it? Do you use IAS to police it?
Use IAS.
You also use IAS.
Yes, indeed. So really, like, how do you get ahead of some of the false narratives that, because Molly, something that you said that's so profound is that part of why you guys are successful is because you guys are curious. But the other side of that curious coin does sometimes bite you in the ass, because a narrative goes out into the world that you did not make.
I think you answered this question. There's tools, right? There's teams, there's people. I think it's human beings that would allow us to really understand what is false out there, right? So we need to have humans to be able to monitor and police some of this. It's so foundational to have your data privacy setups and partnerships for all of the risks that we see online. I think from a tool perspective, operationally, these are baseline. Like, I shouldn't be asking my partners or agencies, and I'm sure that they've already set this up. I think it's all about how do we maintain that with a human mindset, because sometimes AI could get it wrong. And human beings are the ones who can give context to some of these inputs.
However, how I thought about AI is it's very, probabilistic. Human nature is deterministic, right? Like, we have emotions and these different things that make up what we think, and culture is built by human deterministic behavior and these micro cultures, and like AI is never going to be able to identify that or extrapolate that out to an absolute. So I'm with you. Like, systems need to be both data, AI, tech stack, but also human, and marketing will always be human because it has to be emotional.
Yeah. I mean, here's the good news. I don't know about you guys. I have teenagers at home. I'll be surfing with them and they're like, AI, AI, AI. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. They're like, Mom, it's all AI. They can spot that stuff a mile away, more than I think probably our parents. Speaking of culture, Ronnie Chang, who's a comedian, has a really funny bit on how impossible it is to try and train his parents. And I imagine our kids are probably in the same boat with us. But yeah, so anyway, you guys are a smart bunch. I feel like, do you want to talk about world peace? Should we cure cancer while we're here? What else could this group do if we gave you guys enough time? I know, no pressure. I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're all
Thank
on
you.
vacation, so
Thank
this
you.
yeah. Thank you.